Hello everyone, this is Dr. Paul Simmons. I thank you for joining me for today's installment of the Thyroid Bootcamp. Today we will be discussing why thyroid medication is so difficult to get right. Let's start by discussing some of the biggest issues that your primary care physician has in dosing your thyroid medication. Now, one aspect to think about is a conversion related issue. When we take thyroid medication, we're either taking Synthroid or levothyroxine, which is T4, which is a less active form of thyroid hormone, or we're taking Armour thyroid or some type of glandular, which is primarily T3, or the more active thyroid hormone. Now, your thyroid gland itself makes a combination of both. Mostly T4, about 95% of it would be T4, and the remaining 5% would be T3. Now, your body allows your body to decide how much of this T4 needs to be converted to T3 based on its physiological demands. When we're taking a same dose of a medication every single day, your body no longer has as much ability to change how much of the active thyroid hormone which it has in it at any given time. So the medication itself poses a huge challenge. Another issue which is playing a role in pretty much everyone's health is stress, whether it's physiological or psychological stress. When we are stressed, our body tends to reverse T3 and make less of the active form of the T3, leaving more T4, lowering our metabolic rate. Now, this is done so that we can survive, basically. If we have a stressful time in our life, not being able to get food, having a lot of things that we have to work out, our body isn't as worried about burning calories and more worried about surviving. Another problem is the various demands on our body. In the winter, we tend to slow down, tend to eat a little bit more. Now, if we're taking the same thyroid medication every single day, there's no accounting for that. As opposed to in the winter, think about in the summer. We tend to be more active, tend to eat less. Now, if your thyroid medication is giving the same amount of metabolic stimulation, we're always working at the same physiological rate, there's a disconnect between what our caloric intake is, what our caloric expenditure is, and what our body is being told to do. That's another big issue with thyroid medication. Most hypothyroidism is also linked to autoimmunity. Now, when it comes to autoimmune issues such as Hashimoto's thyroiditis, things aren't always the same. There's going to be times where there's going to be an activation of a thyroid condition where the thyroid gland is being attacked, and there's going to be other times where it's not. This is oftentimes when we see huge swings in thyroid patients' TSH, or their thyroid stimulating hormone. One time a person will test and their TSH will look normal, and another time it'll be very, very high, indicating that there needs to be a change in the dosage. But in actuality, the problem might not be the dosage, it just might be where that patient is at that given time. Unfortunately, medication cannot account for this. Our body can, but if it's given the same scenario every single day, if it's given the same amount of thyroid medication every single day, there's no way that your body can, as well as it would otherwise, account for those things. Some other issues that challenge us with thyroid medication is that there's nutrition deficiencies that are very much so linked to the conversion of T4 and T3, as well as the thyroid gland's health itself. Selenium and zinc are very important minerals that are necessary to convert T4, less active thyroid hormone, into T3, more active thyroid hormone. If we have a deficiency in either or both of these very important minerals, then now our body can no longer make that conversion. So your levothyroxine or Synthroid cannot become the more active thyroid hormone one day, and then the next, let's say if you have some Brazil nuts or eat some oysters, when it has an input of selenium and zinc, then it can make that conversion the next day. So again, medication can't account for these changes. Another problem is estrogen issues. Estrogen, when it is dominant, causes the release of thyroid binding globulin. Now, this globulin is a protein that carries thyroid hormone. Now, if there's way more estrogen than there is progesterone or any of our other hormones in our body, then our body makes more of the thyroid binding globulin, which grabs a hold of the thyroid hormone and carries it to places in the body. Now, if there's a huge abundance of this protein that's carrying our thyroid hormone, it won't let go of the thyroid hormone. So although we may have a proper dose as far as our thyroid medication goes, our body can't ever really reap the benefit of this thyroid hormone because it's bound up by these proteins. This is a huge issue for many women and why women have more thyroid issues than men do. Another issue is dysfunctions in various places throughout the body other than just the thyroid gland. The liver, the kidneys, and the digestive system all have a huge amount of control over the conversion of T4 into more active T3. If our liver isn't happy, it's not worried about increasing the metabolic rate of the body. It's not worried about taking T4 and making it T3 so that we can burn calories and thrive. It wants to get healthy. It slows down, makes more T4, and makes us feel worse, really. We go slower, we burn less calories, we gain weight, things of that nature. Same story with the kidneys as well as the digestive system. Now, a question that we get all the time is, why does my thyroid dose keep going up? Your dose will continue to increase if the underlying cause of a particular dysfunction is not addressed. If you went from being 18, 19, 20 years old and being healthy, and then all of a sudden you hit 30, 40, 50, and you're unhealthy, there's something that caused that progression to occur. Now, if you just go and give enough thyroid medication to offset the damage that had been done up to that point, you can't expect for no further damage to occur all of a sudden. The same things that got you to the point where you need thyroid medication are still playing a part on your health. Therefore, medications will continue to go up. As you've learned today, if you not address the factors that are destroying your health, a medication will simply palliate you as your health continues to suffer. Your dose will even increase since your thyroid becomes less and less functional as a result of the medication. That is, your thyroid gland itself will get used to the support that you're giving it in the way of thyroid medication, and it feels like it can just take a vacation, stops working as much. So now you become more dependent on the medication itself, less dependent on what your thyroid gland is making. And again, this is not a great scenario because your body cannot account for changes physiologically, psychologically, changes in your mood, changes in your dietary intake, things of that nature. Now, another question that I get all the time is, why do I feel better some days and worse on others? Well, in a healthy functioning person, your thyroid makes hormones in real time, not first thing in the morning when you take your thyroid medication. Your body will make what it needs when it needs it in the right amount. Now, this changes from day to day. If you're stressed out, it'll make less thyroid hormone because it feels that it needs to heal itself. It needs to figure out what's going on. If you're feeling great, thyroid tends to be higher, thyroid hormone that is, tends to be higher so that your body can worry about making healthy skin and healthy nails and keeping your hair from falling out. Taking the same dose of medication with ever-changing demands will produce unpredictable results. Also note that the immune system will seesaw back and forth when there is an autoimmune condition present. That is, if you have Hashimoto's thyroiditis, there'll be times when you have autoimmune cells that are being created that are attacking your thyroid gland. That will cause less or more thyroid production. Now, if you're taking a medication, you can't account for these changes. This is also a reason why those with Hashimoto's in particular, but really all thyroid patients, will see a TSH, or their thyroid stimulating hormone, in their blood test be very low in one test and then very high in the next. There's alterations in the way their body's operating, and a static dose of thyroid hormone, that is a medication of thyroid hormone that is being taken at the same dose at the same time every single day, can't account for these changes that are happening. Now, if you're not happy with the way that your health is currently being handled, I invite you now to take charge. No one else is going to do it for you. There's many ways in which you can reach out to our office. One would be by filling out a free health evaluation on our website at www.iwcenters.com. Once you've filled out the evaluation, our office manager will get in contact with you and find out what the next step towards getting you well would be. You could also come to a free seminar, which we hold 4 times per month, or come in for a free consultation where you can speak with one of our doctors directly and find out whether or not integrative wellness centers would be a good fit for you. You can find out when our next seminar is or sign up for the consultation by calling our office at 734-779-1650. My name is Dr. Paul Simmons, and I thank you for joining me for this installment of the Thyroid